Russian media is now mocking Trump, and it's not just on Solovyov Live. His change of tone and his kind of erratic nature have caused them to turn on him. He used to be the fair haired boy. He used to be the guy that was going to do things for Russia and the only one that understood what was going on. And now, well, not so much. We're going to go to Solovyov in just a little bit. Let's first look at what was being said in Russian newspapers. This is Steve Rosenberg from the BBC, just talking for about 20 seconds, and then we'll go over to Solovyov.
The US president's attempt to end the Ukraine conflict on his terms was a dismal failure. Trump received from Putin, albeit extremely politely and stretched out in time, a total slapdown. This is a medical fact that cannot be hidden or obscured. The US leader looks like a loser. For him, this is totally unacceptable.
That's what's being said in the Russian newspapers right now, just a little bit more.
Kommissant writes that the latest statements by the White House chief, with his unusually harsh words about Vladimir Putin and his confirmation that military assistance to Ukraine will resume, has brought to an end the period of positive development of Russian-US dialogue, which began with the change of administration in Washington.
Wow. So they're over Trump. They're so over Trump. This is the kind of thing that you're going to see. So special thanks to the Russian Media Monitor for having put this together. And here we go. Trump is attacking BRICS. Trump stated BRICS was created to undermine the US dollar. Now, that was about a week ago. The dollar did everything to undermine itself. Stop imposing sanctions. Stop restricting the circulation of the dollar. You started to use the dollar as a weapon. Therefore, you got warfare in response. Okay, they're really not happy about being cut off from SWIFT banks and not being able to, so we buy and sell and trade in US dollars because it's more stable than many other currencies around the world. Maybe the euro would be a contender, but it's very new comparatively. Okay, so yeah, you can't play in the adult sandbox. And so now they're talking about a BRICS currency, and Trump was saying anybody trying to use the BRICS currency, you're going to be cut off with these huge sanctions and that sort of thing. That's what the background is. But it gets far worse. He's going to go into Epstein and he's going to talk harshly. I mean, there are sentences here that I will not say. You'll be able to read it on the screen, but I won't say. It's just gross and rude. Okay, let's keep going. Now Trump says, I will impose more right now. You only have 16% of the global economy. China has more. Well, let's stop and fact check things because that didn't seem right to me when I was hearing it. I'm like, no, it's about 25%. So the U.S. share of global GDP was approximately 26.47% in 2023. That is, the U.S. population produced about a quarter of the world's goods. In recent years, the U.S. share has fluctuated, but generally remains around that level. And I just happen to already have known that from other things that I have been doing. With a population of only 4.2% of global population, so the U.S. is punching way above its weight. China is producing 19.6% of global GDP, and they have 17.2% of the world's total population. So they're about where they should be, maybe slightly punching over their weight, but nothing like the U.S. But again, he not only is okay with distorting facts, but maybe it's ignorant. Maybe he's saying it because he's trying to distort it. I think it's probably ignorance more than anything else. But okay, let's keep going. China has more, he says. As far as the military industrial potential, you should compare who has more, Russia or the U.S. Trump is like, we're preparing something. Russians should not do this or not do that. Trump is getting totally carried away. He's having a hard time. He thought he would show up and everyone would clap. Well, maybe that is what he thought. I don't know. But it's not working out when he turns on Russia. As long as he's doing what Putin wants him to do, they're cheering him on Russian media. Now that he said some things like, he's tapping me along, or what Putin said is BS or whatever, they're not so thrilled with him. Yo, Donald, we've been waiting for you. But everyone says, so? Look, is this normal in a democratic country? Now he's showing Trump saying, are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. We have Texas, the floods. We have this. We have all the other things. Are people still talking about this guy, this creep? That's unbelievable, says Trump. Do you want to waste the time? So Trump doesn't want to talk about Epstein. Whether he should be or not, he doesn't want to talk about that at all. I can't believe you're asking a question on Epstein at a time like this, Trump says. And so Solovyov is going to say, cool. And everyone says, hold on a minute. What do you mean? It's enough. So even Solovyov is attacking Trump on Epstein, and he would have left that well alone if Trump was singing Putin's tune. You've been saying the whole deep state is mixed up in it. All sorts of people are involved. You've been saying he couldn't have taken his own life, but now you're saying, wham, forget about it. Okay. And that's a legitimate point. Like, we probably ought to be looking at that too. But the point here is that Solovyov is actually criticizing Trump for this, which that's a marked change of tune from Donald is our friend. He's the only one who listens to us. Wow, that's cool. What next? What will happen next? Meanwhile, they say, we delivered 10 Patriot missiles. We will surprise the Russians. What can you surprise us with? A French blank said, we will stand with Ukraine until the end. We should smash the blank out of France. Do you really think that for me? The lives of freaking French are more valuable than the lives of guys in Kursk or Belgorod region or in Tula, Orlov, Bryansk? I would say we got way too relaxed. Yeah. Let me remind you what Trump said, why Trump said it, and what he said about it. In general, who is Trump? He's exceptionally inventive. This audio from 2024 was published. Pool number 3 is reminding us that with Putin, I said, if you go into Ukraine, I'm telling you, I'll have no choice. So he goes like, I don't believe you. He said, no way. And I said, way. Then he goes like, I don't believe you. But the truth is he believed me 10%. I told you this, he believed me 10%. Then I'm with President Xi of China. I said the same thing to them. I said, you know, if you go into Taiwan, I'm going to bomb the blank out of you, out of Beijing. He thought I was crazy. You're going to bomb. I said, I'd have no choice. I got to bomb you. We're going to bomb Beijing. And he didn't believe me either. 10%. 10% is all you need. In fact, 5% would have been okay too. And we never had a problem. So that was Trump that was talking about how, you know, he was going to do these. He was making these threats. And so it never would have happened under his watch and that sort of thing. And now they're mocking that. And they're saying, look, here's what we'll do instead. Listen to this. I have a simple question. How many percent would Trump believe that we will erase the blank out of America? With what percent would Trump believe that 2 Poseidon nuclear-powered underwater systems coming from 2 different sides of the North American continent will cause the formation of a radioactive tsunami? Again, he's threatening with nuclear warfare. And he talks about this like he's going to break the Russians would break the North American continent in 2 pieces and create a river between with their weapons, right? That will create a strait named after Comrade Stalin. That's what he's talking about here. I mean, he does this regularly. How well will Comrade Trump understand and believe when he realizes that our submarines of a certain class are armed with weapons that are powerful enough for any protective element that is yet to be built? The Golden Dome, the Diamond Dome, or the Blank Dome designed to protect America from a retaliatory strike? Does he seriously think that as soon as he sends ballistic missiles or his freaking B-2s that are visible to us and will try to strike our territory, we will just sit here and say, oi, look? No, we will freaking erase you from the face of the earth. If you think our Supreme Commander-in-Chief was joking when he said, who needs the world if Russia isn't in it? Well, let's pause there for a moment. Putin actually said, what good is the world if Russia isn't in it? That's the way they think. Russia's awesome. Everybody else is kind of not great, but Russia's awesome. And if you have Russia, then you have awesomeness. That's the way that the Ruski Mir worldview is. Okay. Or do you think it was just a figure of speech when it was said that a retaliatory strike means that we're going to heaven, but you will croak? Have you gone nuts? Who do you think you are? No, really, Americans, who do you think you are? Come back to your senses, animals. Now, that tells you what they think that we are. When you're calling them animals, you think that they're lesser than, right? Don't we realize that we should carefully look at it because we're moving toward a big war? Again, more saber rattling, more nuclear threats, more of this kind of thing. This is what you get out of Russian state media. Because we're moving toward this war. The West won't stop until we punch its snotty nose. Isn't that fascinating? The Russians, who are the aggressors, say the West won't stop until they punch them in the nose, which is precisely the prescription that the West needs for the Russian aggression to make it stop. So hard that everything around will be buzzing. Let's not expect that kind Americans will come and quietly do something. No. It will not happen this way. Everything is moving toward a hard, terrible world war. Again, He threatens about world war, and then if the Western powers do anything, raise military spending to 5%. The West, they're such warmongers, right? That's where we are. Unless it is stopped now. BRICS countries should create a military alliance. Oh, Putin would absolutely love that. It's a trade alliance, but he would love it to be a military alliance. BRICS countries could create a military alliance. Not all of them will be in it, but if it includes China, Russia, Belarus, North Korea, let's pause on that. If it right now, it already includes Russia, Belarus, and North Korea, and it's not that big. You need China because China is much bigger and tougher than you are, and you know it. Maybe Iran will come to its senses. This will be a totally different balance of power, a completely different balance of power. It's coming to this. It's not accidental that NATO is spreading into Asia and the Pacific region. There should be no illusions. This is a predator that can only gobble up, destroy, and kill. It's so fascinating. So let's go back. It's not accidental that NATO is spreading its tentacles. There should be no into Asia and whatever else. It's creating a defensive alliance because of Russia and China's hostility. There should be no illusions. It's a predator that can only gobble up, destroy, and kill. That's what Russia is actively doing. And NATO is only defensive in its actions, and yet that's what he says. Look at them. It's impossible to make a deal with a predator. I mean, truer words have never been spoken. And then he says it has to be destroyed. This is where Russia is. Russia is a predator that's impossible to make a deal with. For this, we have to understand the charming power of evil. He's calling the West evil, by the way. Realizing that it's still evil. And not falling for all this blank snot. I'm not even sure what that profanity is. Of our pseudo-liberal intelligentsia. They're simply, I'm not even going to read this. You can read it. On the body of frightening, evil, aggressive, global colonial capitalist monster. Okay, let's talk about that colonial bit. He loves talking about, and so does Lavrov and Putin and whatever, how the West is colonial. True, they were. But the question is, are they still? And are you still? Because Russia didn't expand to 11 time zones by being nice and just being kind to its neighbors. It was colonial. It just colonized all its neighbors as it spread. They are just, I'm not reading the sentence. You can read it. Of all this stinky vomit. Good morning, country. Okay, that's where we are with Solovyov live. I mean, okay, that's what he had to say. And the way that he's talking about Trump is something very new. The way that Trump was talking about Putin was pretty new. The way that he's talking about Trump is pretty new. And it's not pleasant. Tell me what you thought about this. I mean, if you think I'm making it up, I just read it all there for you. Tell me what you thought. Put it in the comments below. Thank you for the time, the likes, the shares, and the subscribes. And thank you for being the kind of person that cares about Ukraine.